for NXT Season 1 Pro. Of course, Daniel Bryan, a part of the original Nexus and NXT Season 1. Since then, he's held championships like the U.S. title and the World title. And AJ now is his valet. She's playing the role of Miss Elizabeth in this angle between Sheamus and Daniel Bryan, which adds fuel to the fire for this year's WrestleMania. She just became involved in a tag team match, seeing the world champion and the number one contender involved in that. Randy Orton and Kane were involved in that there, and AJ actually gets involved in the middle of the match, throwing herself in harm's way in front of Daniel Bryan, preventing Sheamus to win a tag team match for both himself and Randy Orton. Leading into WrestleMania, very interesting tag team combination of Sheamus and Randy Orton. I don't think I've ever seen those guys team up, and the involvement of AJ in that tag match really adds fuel to the fire. Heading into WrestleMania, the one who is making this feud interesting is not Daniel Bryan or Sheamus. Strangely enough, it's AJ, and every angle that Daniel Bryan has been involved in since AJ became involved with him romantically, the majority of the attention has been on AJ, and this is good for her career because just as many people are talking about her now as they're talking about Eve, which is really, really great for her, and this was something that I wanted for AJ. She's not quite at the level yet of challenging for the Divas Championship. She's not the fastest rising diva in terms of success. Technically, the one who would have been the fastest rising diva in terms of success is either Trish Stratus or Kelly Kelly. Kelly Kelly, in a matter of 5 years, became the most improved diva back in 2007, 2008, and has already had a Divas Championship run to her credit, something that has yet to be given to AJ. But I think in time, we're going to see that. Trish Stratus is a former 7-time Divas champion and one of the greatest female wrestlers to come out of Canada. Apart from her, we have other great Canadian wrestlers like Maurice, who WWE could have done a tremendous amount with, but didn't. And I really think that a lot of divas have had tremendous opportunities in WWE, but just either haven't been able to capitalize on them, or just WWE didn't have any use for them. So it seems like AJ is being put in all these different angles, and after WrestleMania, I hope they continue to utilize her, if not as a part of Daniel Bryan's angles on SmackDown or Raw, wherever he ends up after Draft 2012 finishes up, which is going to be happening around the 3rd or 4th week in April, which is something that everybody is excited about. I'm really excited about the Draft, which happens every time after WrestleMania, depending where Daniel Bryan ends up. This is a tremendous opportunity to break Daniel Bryan and AJ up if you really think about it technically. I just wrote an article about looking ahead towards the 2012 WWE Draft and how many incredible opportunities are presented with WWE. And one of the opportunities I didn't talk about, and I'll talk about here, is WWE now have the opportunity to break up AJ and Daniel Bryan as a manager-valet type gimmick. It'll allow AJ to improve on her in-ring abilities away from Daniel Bryan and compete as a singles competitor in the Divas division, which is something ultimately I think AJ wants to do. And it will allow Daniel Bryan to go on and be the world champion without a valet. Right now, in the Sheamus Daniel Bryan angle leading into WrestleMania, it seems like AJ is the Miss Elizabeth in the middle of all this, and it seems like it's adding fuel to the fire, but how long is it going to be before the fans get tired of it and want something different from AJ? Now, we really haven't seen all that much from AJ, just a bit of tag team work with now Caitlyn, who is a heel, I think, on NXT Season 5, and I think she's going to remain that way because it seems like Caitlyn is a more effective heel, and AJ now is a heel during this Daniel Bryan Sheamus thing. Makes it more interesting. Both AJ and Daniel Bryan now are heels, and this was something that I wanted for AJ. And once again, WWE seemed to have listened to us and listened to our pleas. So how long is it going to last? I don't know. But when the draft happens now after WrestleMania, I hope WWE take advantage of this tremendous opportunity and separate Daniel Bryan and AJ, because I think they both need it. For both of their careers, AJ has yet to become a Divas champion, but I really think she's almost at a level, not quite there yet, to compete for the Divas championship, but she's almost there. She's got some work done with Natalya. She's wrestled Natalya a number of times. Natalya mentored her after she came off of NXT Season 3 and went to SmackDown, signing a contract with them. And then she was involved in a program where Caitlyn turned on her, and Caitlyn's heel persona was debuted. Since then, Caitlyn's having a tremendous run for herself on WWE's web series NXT Season 5. And I think AJ as a heel is definitely benefiting a lot of people, not just her on SmackDown. You have the world champion Daniel Bryan, who people are paying attention to now. Even Michael Cole is talking more positively about Daniel Bryan. Not just Michael Cole, but radio show hosts, columnists, and fans are impressed with Daniel Bryan, and just as many that are impressed with Daniel Bryan are impressed with Sheamus. and how he's doing and AJ's doing. So it's really cool. Not to mention AJ is using an incredible amount of moves in her arsenal now. She's still continuing to utilize the octopus, which is an old school maneuver, which is always fun to see. Old school maneuvers never go stray in professional wrestling. Everything from a full Nelson to an octopus will never get old. She's utilizing the label lock now, which is Daniel Bryan's submission maneuver. And I think that, both of them doing the label lock, she does her own adaptation of that move, and Daniel Bryan does his version of the move, definitely adds fuel to the fire for both of their gimmicks. I think that, AJ should definitely talk more on the microphone. That would make the storyline a bit more interesting. I don't think Daniel Bryan should be intimidating her, telling her what to do, and AJ is kind of like a slave there that is obviously being blackmailed and having something held over her head. So hopefully in time we will see something develop where AJ definitely improves on her microphone technique, definitely improves inside of the ring. She's got a couple of wins over people like the Bella Twins, Maxine, and other impressive WWE divas. I'm not saying that AJ was the most impressive diva on NXT. She finished in the top 3 or 4 divas on the show. I think she was in the top 3. And a lot of the divas on NXT Season 3 were impressive. Jamie was impressive in her own way. We had Caitlyn be impressive in her own way. She won the thing. But I think that AJ would have had an incredible amount of momentum if WWE would have decided to have her win NXT Season 3, because she seems to be the one who is benefiting from her performance on NXT Season 3 more than the additional 5 that were a part of the show. And I hope WWE continue to do this. Definitely her move arsenal has definitely improved. She's one of the quickest girls I've seen inside of the ring. She's quick on her feet, very agile, able to get to the top rope really quick, utilize moves like the flying crossbody, which she's attempted a number of times, and been able to hit better than any diva has over the last number of years. We have also seen her use the octopus, which is an old school maneuver which I love seeing her apply. I've even written about it for my column in this corner with Jonathan Clarke. I love seeing her do that move. And the label lock that she's just recently started utilizing as part of her move arsenal, adapting that one from Daniel Bryan, as Daniel Bryan continues to coach her every week on Friday Night SmackDown, and will continue to do so, depending on the results of the World Championship match between Sheamus and Daniel Bryan, which AJ is making interesting. I think if it wasn't for AJ, this storyline would be one that nobody would care about. They would just put this match on halfway through WrestleMania and go on to something more important, like the end of an era match between Triple H and The Undertaker, and the once-in-a-lifetime match between The Rock and John Cena, which have an interesting HBO-style documentary going to be airing on television both in the States and Canada and other parts of the world. Head to WWE.com for additional information on that WrestleMania special, with a number of time slots being given to the show leading into WrestleMania. It's going to be really interesting. It has that kind of HBO feel to it. And I really think that, AJ, Eve, they definitely deserve a tremendous amount of credit. Hopefully they'll have the opportunity to go one-on-one, because AJ and Eve are really making the Divas division look phenomenal. Kelly and Maria Menounos, part of Extra, definitely promoting that at WrestleMania. And that tag match are looking phenomenal for the Divas division in their own right. But AJ and Eve definitely deserve the majority of the credit. They are really putting over the Divas division in their own individual storylines, really making managers and valets stand out more than we have seen them stand out over the last probably 5 or 6 years, really, over the last decade, I would venture to say. And I hope that WWE continue to utilize divas like AJ and Eve as not only in-ring performers, but outside of the ring performers also. AJ looks to be in fantastic shape. She is developing somewhat of a tremendous physique. Definitely looks in better shape than she has over the last 6 months, really. I guess the pressure is really starting to get to AJ. Fans are starting to talk about her more on Twitter and Facebook. I am following AJ on both Facebook and Twitter, so find her on our Twitter and our Facebook list, where you're either listening to the show or just browsing through our news articles, which we've posted on our Twitter and Facebook walls. Definitely follow her on Twitter and Facebook. Let her know what you think of what she's doing. Definitely the whole vegan thing, how he doesn't own a television. Is probably boring you to death, so you're paying most of your attention to AJ, giving her the majority of your attention. And honestly, I can't blame you. More people are talking about her on Facebook and Twitter than they ever have. And it's a good thing for AJ because WWE will notice it, and WWE will continue to push her and utilize her in future storylines, if not with Daniel Bryan in the future, but with some other diva in terms of in-ring competition or with other wrestlers, which are really cool. I like how WWE, especially here at the start of 2012, early in the year, are getting back to kind of a wrestler, manager, slash valet, whatever you want to call them type thing. Something they haven't done since probably the early 90s when Sonny and Sable were tremendous valets. So it's really, really cool that AJ's not only getting the opportunity to wrestle inside of the ring against some of WWE's most incredible female talents, like Maxine and Caitlyn, but she's also getting the opportunity to actually be a valet for the world champion, something we haven't seen since probably the days of Sunny when she was managing the Body Donnas or Chris Candido, and when Sable, Rena Merrill, was managing her once husband, Mark Merrill, best known as the Wild Man or the Marvelous One, during the Attitude Era. So I really think that the days of the Mega Powers are coming back. Well, I probably wouldn't go that far, but remember when Miss Elizabeth used to manage both Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage and was in the middle of this WrestleMania 5 angle for the WWE Championship? The Sheamus Daniel Bryan thing is nowhere near the Mega Powers, but it almost makes you think that something like Strike Force or the Mega Powers could potentially happen again. Who knows? But it's really fun, knowing that AJ